Good afternoon, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Rams Coast Podcast. Second episode of today, man. We're getting after it. As always, please like, comment, subscribe to this YouTube page. You can follow my personal Twitter at WTRRaw. Follow the podcast Twitter page at Rams_Coast. Already broke down the second preseason game against the Texans. Now we're just gonna get into just talking a little bit about the roster. Some of the latest happenings, some of the latest moves. Of course, the big thing you always want to the goal, in my opinion, of every preseason game is to get your team ready for the regular season, as healthy as possible. Most teams, you're not going to be able to do that for every single player. Football is an extremely violent game. You got 200 plus, sometimes 300-pound players running at each other and colliding. Some injuries are going to happen, and we had two injuries, in my opinion, that are going to be of some significance. The big one being Logan Bruss tearing his ACL and his MCL on Friday night, so he'll be out for the 2022 season. When we were picking at 104, Les Snead and Sean McVay said they wanted to draft a player that could compete to be a day one starter. And some fans didn't really know who Logan Bruss was over the course of the season, over the course of the summer. A lot of us watched tape, so a lot of us got introduced to his game. We were a little excited about what he could bring to the team. His first game was up and down. He showed some good, showed some very bad. You saw the evidence of the reports why Coleman Shelton had earned the starting job, because you can just see Logan is just not ready to be a starter at this time. But we were definitely hoping to get him ready for the season, so that you can of course give us some depth if needed on the inside of that line, and just get him some snaps here and there just to get him ready for next season. But now with the ACL and MCL tear, he's going to miss the rest of this season, which would have been his rookie season. I'm a little bummed out about it. I was a bit excited about him. I kind of tempered some expectations after I saw his first performance against another team. But I was still very excited. Now we're going to have to wait another year. This looks like it may open up a spot for one of these guys that was maybe going to get cut. In my opinion, I think Bobby Evans is now going to make the team. He's had some experience with this team, and now that a spot has opened up, I could definitely see him squeezing his way in. We got to roll with the guys that we got. Unfortunately, one of the guys that a lot of us were hoping was going to be on this journey with us will not be on the field when the games matter. He'll still be with the team. He'll still be traveling. The team's gonna have his back, like McVay said in his presser when he announced the injury. But we're just gonna have to have a little bit of patience when it comes to Logan Bruss. The second big injury that I want to talk about is a guy that I have been very excited about all summer, and I was very excited about after seeing his first preseason game. Daniel Hardy ended up getting a high ankle sprain, and he'll need surgery. If it says he's a candidate to start the season on IR, so this opens up again, more space for some of these, maybe one or another one of these pass rushers that we thought was maybe not going to make the team, or maybe not going to see the field all that much. Now this opens up a spot for him, because Dan was actually getting some first team reps when Leonard Floyd would sit on vet days. I loved his athleticism. I loved his motor. I loved his what I perceive to be versatility. Now we're just gonna have to wait on it. Same thing with Logan, but he will actually be able to get back on the field at some time this year. It looks like. So we'll just have to hold out for his debut, and we'll have to find other ways and use another guy to get after the pass rusher. Now let's talk about something good. Lance McCutcheon, man. Lance is continuing to improve. He's continuing to show what he can do. His first catch of the night, he went out there and did some nasty things to Derek Stingley. The number 3 overall pick was really lost him out there in coverage, and was able to get open. Don Wolford threw a strike to him, and he caught that ball. That was really great play to see. An undrafted guy coming off a small school, Montana State, and do that to Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley, as mentioned in the broadcast, has not played a lot of football in the last 2 years, but for a guy who a lot of people have a lot of excitement about as the number 3 overall pick, That was really good to see from Lance, and he's continuing to try to push his way onto this 53-man roster. It may happen, it may not. If it is, he's gonna have to show something in the special teams department, and he looks like he's got a little bit of work to do there. But you never know. Things can happen. Injuries happen, as we're seeing, and guys can be forced to step up. Speaking of room being made, we made a few cuts. This everybody has to whittle their roster down, and we made the next round of cuts. We let go of Kendall Blanton, Raymond Calais, I believe his name is Hiron McVeigh. Got a little tongue tied there, and AJ Rose, who scored a touchdown last week against the Chargers. I was hoping to maybe see if he could squeeze his way into there. But he's gone now. And JJ Koski has been cut with an injury designation, so there's a possibility he may be back. He's a special teams contributor. The big surprise that a lot of people was Kendall Blanton. Nobody really thought that he was gonna get cut. A lot of fans thought that he was gonna be a contributor to this team this year. He was a contributor in the playoffs last year, coming in when Higbee sustained his injury. He started a couple games for us, started the Super Bowl for us, but he himself had to come out with an injury. A lot of fans were reading a lot about him. Were hoping he would be able to be a valuable contributor this year, but that just didn't happen. McVay and the coaches decided to go another route, and he was released. And he's a good player. He was going to get picked up soon, and he got picked up by the Commanders, who had an opening, had a need at tight end, and I could see him having a nice year over there. Carson Wentz is he gets a lot of flack, but he's a pretty good quarterback. He's not the same guy that was putting together MVP caliber seasons like he was his first couple years in Philly. But he's still a good quarterback. He's a lot better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league. A lot better than a lot of the quarterbacks in the league. And I think that's an opportunity in there for Washington, for Kendall to do something for himself and earn a name for himself. We're just whittling down the roster, getting ready for opening day. There's so much to be excited about. At the beginning of the offseason, our defensive backfield, specifically our cornerback room, is one of the big question marks coming into the season, and now that we're getting closer, some of those questions are answered. Jalen Ramsey has been much ballyhooed that this is the deepest and best cornerback room that he's ever played with. That excites a lot of fans. That gets a lot of fans really happy. And you look at the depth that we have outside of Ramsey and Hill. You start to ask yourself how confident should Rams fans be in Robert Rochelle, Darion Kendrick, Jacoby Durant, Quentin Lake. I think that's really going to be the cornerback room. I believe that Jacoby's going to back up Troy, and again, Troy is going to play a lot more of that star position and allow Jalen to do some other things. They'll split time, but like I say, Quentin will be the backup there, and then Rochelle. You also can't forget about Long, who was on the team last year. He may or may not be out there on that field for some significant snaps. But I'm really excited about Rochelle and Darion. I love their physicality and their speed. Specifically Rochelle's speed and his length. I like Darion's physicality. He got outworked, out muscled for a touchdown catch this week. But Nico Collins, like I said, if you watch the recap of the Texans game, is a nice big body receiver, and that's one of the things he was brought in the league, or brought to the Texans to do. Like I said, you looked at this defensive this cornerback room at the beginning of the season, and you said, oh, that's a weakness. Who do they have outside of Jalen Ramsey? You bring back Troy Hill, who first played the star for us when Brandon Staley was our defensive coordinator in 2020, and we were the number one defense in the league. He had his best year with us that year, so you bring him back, and that instills a little bit more confidence in Robert Rossell, coming back, playing his second year in this offense. In this defense. You had some questions about him, but he's looking like he's starting to answer some of those questions. Like I said, it looks like this defensive backfield, the cornerback room, is answering a lot of the questions that we had, specifically about who was going to be out there and how good they are. we're gonna have to wait to see. We're gonna have to wait to see. Once we get on the field, especially week 1 against Josh Allen and the Bills. We're gonna have to wait to see how they can do against real competition. But I'm much more excited. My ratio of excitement to concern about that unit is leaning a lot more towards excitement than concern than it was at the beginning of this offseason. Especially playing behind this front seven with, Bobby Wagner coming in, and hopefully he will be able to, give us a boost in the run game and in, being able to, direct traffic in the middle of the field. So it's not going to be so easy to just, matriculate the ball down the field on us as it was last year. That's our hope. So these defensive backs, they're going to get tested. We're as I said before, we are playing. If you believe a guy is the best quarterback in the league, we're going to play him this year, whether it's Mahomes, whether it's Brady, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Josh Allen, whoever you think that guy is, we're going to play him this season. They are going to be tested, we just hopefully Rahim Morris can scheme up the right coverages and give us the right looks, help out those guys, maybe give them safety help. Call some blitzes to speed up quarterbacks and offenses' timing and make things a little bit more difficult for them. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to hold their own and show that they can be a valuable piece for a championship defense. And I believe that we put together the first steps of that. Getting Darion Kendrick in the 6th round, I think, is a steal. I think that's going to be one of the big steals of the draft when we look back on it. Again, Robert Rochelle and Jacoby Durant, who, a lot of people had some concerns, with him being a smaller guy and playing at a smaller school. But he plays much bigger, much bigger than his diploma and his, and size says. He made a really good play out there, almost intercepting a ball. Quentin Lake has shown some versatility. This defensive backfield, they just may put it together and they just may be able to get the job done for us. We're gonna get a chance. We're gonna get a chance for them to do that against a really good wide receiver group this coming week, because we have a joint practice before our preseason game in Cincinnati against the Bengals. I know, some of the guys on that Bengals team, and I know the fans are really kind of chomping at the bits for that. Maybe going to try to get some morsel or bit of revenge for the Super Bowl. Zach Taylor, the reason why a lot of these joint practices happens, you look at the coaches, and there are usually two coaches that have a really good relationship with each other and, have respect for one another. Zach Taylor, of course, being in LA before he was hired in Cincinnati as the head coach. So there's mutual respect between McVay and Taylor. So, I believe that, both teams will keep things cute. Hopefully, we don't see any dust-ups or anything like that. Although with the Rams, we've had our fair share of those in these joint practices and a couple preseason games in the past. We got some guys with with that dog mentality on this defense and on this team. To be honest with you. But it's it's not going to be all that crazy. These guys are professionals at the end of the day. Tempers may flare, but at the end of the day, as long as respect is shown on both sides, I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to to see what we can do against a team that is also looking to make it back to the Super Bowl, the Cincinnati Bengals, with their much improved offensive line and their, in my opinion, the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL with Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. Like I said, they improved that offensive line. Joe Burrow was the most sacked quarterback in the league last year. He's the most hit quarterback in the league. They were still able to make it to the Super Bowl, but you could see that their offensive line was what held them back. And in the end, our defensive line being able to control the second half really took us over the edge. But they went out there and they addressed it. They brought in three guys who I think are actually pretty good, and it's going to improve that offensive line, going to improve that offense. So I don't know exactly how much we're going to see out of our starters in terms of Stafford and Cup and AR, and Donald and Ramsey and Wagner. I don't know how many snaps those guys are going to see, but if they do get any snaps, it'll be a really good opportunity to see what we can do against another team, another really good team in the NFL. And then after we fly to Cincinnati. And we have our preseason game there. There's probably not going to be anybody that's going to be seeing many important snaps on the field for both teams. I'll definitely do some do a recap of it afterwards. But after then, that's the end of the preseason, and we're at the regular season, and we can finally get this train out of the depot, man. We can get ready for the season. Hopefully our Rams are able to go back to back, something that no team has done since the 2004 Patriots. There's a lot standing in our way. There's so many good teams out there. There's so many good there's going to be so many great storylines. I know there's some teams that are itching to get some get back at us. There's a couple teams out there that I want some get back against. We played the Packers 3 times in the last 2 years, and we haven't been able to come away with a win. That's a team I want some get back against. So it is going to be one hell of a season. It is going to be one hell of a ride. And as always, at the end, a champion will be crowned. We have a very good chance, and I hope with all my heart that is us for our second consecutive year. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. Again, I love doing this. I love having conversations about the game of football. I love this team. Get at me however you guys want to get at me in the comment section. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you know any other Rams fans, I'm just trying to grow this page. I'm not really trying to, do it all big and everything. I mean, of course, you always want to grow anything that you're doing, right now. But this is just slow motion for me, man. But if you can, share, share it with your friends, share it with your family, man. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. A blessings to all you guys, and let's run it back, baby. Let's run it back.